Yo, yo, yo. Can everybody hear me? If you can, please give me hearts, a thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you feel deep down in your soul. We are back with volleyball practice. Shout outs to Murad, who has a way bigger platform than I obviously do. Really appreciate that he's brought us all here together. I see a lot of old faces in the crowd with the noteworthy Idea Hazard, who is our former coach. Idea Hazard, I want you to maybe request to come to the stage if you don't mind, but no pressure. It's totally up to you. And sorry about the delay. Back in the day, we used to call it, so Manna used to call it bullish sleeping. So I don't know, maybe I was sleeping on the job or something. But no, I think we were just waiting to get a bigger spaces going. We really appreciate you guys being here. As is tradition for volleyball practice, usually we open up by doing like a market recap. So Idea Hazard, I don't know if you want to come up for that, but you are more than welcome to. Please forgive me if my voice is a little bit raspy right now. There are reasons. I'm not like 100% well. Not that anything is totally wrong. No, it's like when you're pregnant, one of the things that happens is you sometimes have indigestion and you might be like choking on your own stomach acid throughout the entire night. So that is something new that I'm experiencing. And yeah, so anyway, if you're wondering right now, this is Space. I see we got Maddox up here, which is awesome. I see we got Jesse and we got Seb. Who else do you have up here? Well, I'll say hi to everyone first, and then Idea Hazard is up here. So maybe you know what? Let's let Idea Hazard do his little recap if he wants. Are you interested in that?
I stopped checking like all the metrics. I don't look at price. So I'm not prepared to give a
what a novel concept. I think this concept would have really benefited you back in the day.
in many ways. You know, we Jeez.
No, it's good to hear your voice. How have you been?
Well, likewise, I'm doing all right. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing really well. My ankles are a totally different story. They're not doing as well as I am. But yeah, no, life is good. SPX to me is just like making new all-time highs every single day, just like socially and in terms of like this whole like concept of realizing a network state in a sense. So yeah, my vibes are good. I feel great about the direction of SPX right now. But how do you feel about it? I mean, you've seen it through all of its different sort of phases and iterations. Like, what's your take on the sort of current direction of SPX? Any highlights for you, things that you've seen that you particularly like?
Too many to count, right? Like it's really actually incredible how back in 2023, August, we're almost there. Wow, yeah. We just like started this thing with a coin on an immutable, decentralized ledger, and it's evolved into like one of the strongest swarms of people I've ever observed in terms of like idea generation and like implementation of like just cool ideas. And like just recently somebody put that Uniswap front end like on IPFS, like so we had this like kind of frozen way to access SPX swaps like on ETH.
Yes, that's late Aeon. Shout outs to late Aeon. Amazing dev work.
Yeah, the ingenuity and the SPX is sick because people just kind of like stand up and do shit, and it's always awesome. Like Mike, I mean, there's so many people. Chang, it's so hard. It's weird, man. Space way back in the day, SPX was a lot smaller.
I know, and we could actually list all of the people who had done stuff, but you can't really do that anymore. I mean, like
you used to be able to like conceptualize it as like a group, but now it's like we've got Bronze Army versus Tofu Army. We've got like
I mean, you have a multitude of different people hosting podcasts, most of whom are here, a multitude of different people organizing these IRL events and conferences, most of which are here. Like I'm looking through the crowd, and it's almost like everyone here has done something by their own will that no one has asked them to do, but just like out of genuine love of the project, which is super sick.
Yeah, this is how we win, right? Like that's like That's always kind of been the thing. We knew like it's so corny. I don't know. We started talking about like community, you know, and all these things way back when, and then so many people like dragged all these terms through the mud. So like you can only speak about some of these things like, and it sounds like corny, but like truly a powerful community. Sorry, by the way, I'm walking through the door, but so space.
Such a powerful community.
Yeah, right. I know. I fucking say it's the most corny thing you can say, and then immediately say it.
I am so proud of this community.
Can we just talk about Hype's voice for a minute? Hype, what do you do before you go on like a Twitch stream to get your voice silky smooth like that? I feel like I need some tips here.
Yeah, how much does the voice changer cost?
Do I need just like auto tune? I need to just put my voice through a program. I know how to do sound.
Femify VST plugin or some shit.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Murad, how are you?
Murad, how's everything?
Guys, I was speaking literally for like 7 minutes straight, and then somebody messaged me on Telegram being like, has the space started yet? I was like, what?
No.
I just want to say that I'm really happy that we're, first things first, I'm really happy that we're bringing back the tradition of the SPX6900 Sunday volleyball practice, because I actually caught like the tail end of them in the summer of 2024, I believe. And also there were still a couple in the fall of 2024. But all of the quote unquote OGs in the community, the guys that have been there much earlier than I have from 2023, they always spoke very fondly of the memories and the tradition and the ritual associated with volleyball practice Sunday spaces, right? So a couple of people have asked me to do this, but also once I did announce this, people were like, this is a great idea. So first of all, I want to thank everybody that has made it here tonight. I think that, you know, we are continuing to grow behind the scenes and in the shadows and on chain and in the metrics or in the faith in people's hearts, regardless of kind of the bear market or the BTC sort of price action. And I think that this is going to pay, you know, massive dividends once the entire crypto market sort of starts curling back up. But Spacey, can you tell us how much has the SPX6900 movement grown since we were last doing these spaces almost 2 years ago?
It's funny because in a way, it's kind of a full circle moment in the sense that, you know, when spaces kind of died down, broader market sentiment and the macro was not looking good. You know, like similarly to how low sentiment is right now. And I want to say by the end of volleyball practices, like once it kind of wound down, we had sort of shrunk to the people who had like all the strongest conviction. I don't remember the scale of those spaces, but you know, like when Idea Hazard first started volleyball, it would be like it would start out small, but then you know, someone like Bob Lax would come in, or someone, you know, who had like a bigger platform would come in, and all of a sudden the space would turn into some insane space that actually was comparable to this size. So I think like SPX on like at face value in terms of volleyball practice has sort of been pretty consistent at being able to sort of like get people concentrated into a particular area, whether it's a Twitter space. But in terms of like the growth of SPX, like on the physical side, I think that's where we're seeing the majority of this thing growing. We're seeing like from the early days, 2024, you know, around the time that you're talking about when those spaces were, you know, it was like after the Coach Candle where Idea Hazard famously, you know, said he sold due to unwinnable game against day one snipers. We saw sentiment pull back. We saw people like stop showing up to spaces. And Nicole and myself had run that sort of like funeral Twitter space. After that, and we were like mourning the end of SPX more as like kind of like a joke because we knew it wasn't over. But you know, the spaces had really died down to like maybe 20 people, sometimes late at night. Like I see Hee Haw in the audience. Sometimes at like 2 a.m. I would run a space when I couldn't sleep and it would be like 10 of us. So, you know, this thing has kind of like ebbed and flowed. And But I think on the physical side, it's just grown exponentially. Like at that same time, February 2024, when sentiment was low, it was just myself and Mayo, and we're showing up to ETH Denver, and we're shilling, and we're putting stickers up. And the joke is still funny. Like at the end of the day, people hear, "Oh, we're going to flip the stock market. We have more S's and P's," and there's something very sticky about it, and it hasn't lost that sort of stickiness to it. But nowadays, we went from that to Art Basel Miami with having maybe like 50 people in attendance to more recently Amsterdam. And obviously there were other meetups. There's the Barcelona meetup and so on. But the Amsterdam conference, I think, drew like 150, like really the number of people we have in this Twitter space right now actually physically traveled across the world to this Amsterdam conference, which is insane because we're all joining from like the convenience of our devices right now. But people physically flew from all over the world. Shout outs to Southern Fried Chad, who's been going to all the IRL stuff, and some of the other people who've really gone a far distance to make it in person. So I think a lot of the growth that's happening is manifesting in ways that maybe we didn't anticipate it would manifest in. But yeah, Murad, sorry about the monologue that nobody heard. Yeah, thanks for having us and allowing us to sort of like experience the nostalgia all over again, and with really a lot of the same faces, because as much as it's changed, there are so many sort of constants in SPX that are with us today. So.
Thank you so much for that, Spacey. And before we continue, I just wanted to remind everyone that there is an SPX6900 YouTube competition that is going on right now and will continue for another 2.5 weeks. 50,000 SPX are up for grabs, and the top 10 creators of the most viral YouTube videos will share a prize pool. Also, I would like to say that, I think the most noteworthy difference between back then in 2024 and right now in 2026 is that, just like you said, right, back then SPX6900 was almost entirely an online phenomenon, whereas right now it is starting to expand into the real world, right? The second SPX6900 conference has just taken place in Amsterdam last month, and in my opinion, it was absolutely mind-blowing. I want to express my sincere gratitude, but also on behalf of the entire community, to T-Dog, Moss, Alex, Mike, DePonzi, STPC, Jasper, Anna, and all of the other French and Dutch Aeons, as well as all the speakers and attendees who made this historical event possible. Side note, the SPX6900 conference live stream on YouTube is about to hit 10,000 views, which in my opinion, kind of in the quote-unquote depths of this bear, is an absolutely huge success. And obviously no PvP, as we always say, but Salvin Fried Chad mentioned the other day that the SPX6900 conference has more, the videos have more views than conferences of some of the other biggest crypto projects right now. And I believe that this says so much about where we're headed, because community, at the end of the day, I think people on this spaces right now, they understand this, right? Community is the only real fundamental. And this applies to not only SPX6900, but the concept of crypto assets, blockchain-based decentralized assets in general, right? And Aeon Reborn has done a lot of work kind of proving this as well, right? And in my opinion, there's just no other community doing all of these things right now in like this summer, in this quote-unquote bear market. Like, who else is running all of these real-world events, all of these podcasts, all of these spaces, all of these, not only the conferences that have already happened, but the 3 or 4 conferences, meetups, and events that are yet to come just in the next 2 or 3 months alone, right? And I think the other thing is, I think it's good if we invite or let one of the sort of speakers or organizers of the conference speak right now. I see we have Jesse in the house. I see we have Zaimaka in the house. So if you guys could sort of share a few sentences on your experiences about what happened in Amsterdam, kind of your feelings, what you experienced, and that would be amazing. I see T-Dog. I see T-Dog in the room as well. T-Dog, if you want to kind of come up stage and speak as well, feel free to.
Thank you, Murad. Thank you, everybody, for having me. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
So I want to pay homage to. I'll explain about Art Basel and I'll explain about Amsterdam, and I want to pay homage to the recent Flip the Stock Market podcast, which was about in real life events. So in this society of in this time that we're in right now, everybody is not going to come back to crypto because there's too many other options and there's too many other things that are out there. So the only things that are going to win are going to be people that are doing these in real life events, and there's nobody that's doing it like we are. And as I was going to say, with Flip the Stock Market, they were talking about not just the in real life conferences, but the in real life get-togethers in Barcelona and different things. The thing is, when you go to one of these events, if you were in Art Basel, if you were in Amsterdam, if you're in Barcelona, or you're in somewhere else, wherever you meet, you can't replicate the energy of that process. And once you get to one of these events, you can only understand it. You can't understand it if you're not there. You can feel it, but there's just a magical thing that happens when you go to these in real life events. So for me, knowing what this is about, I believe going forward, it's the most important thing that we're doing.
Hey guys, can you hear me? Nice
Yeah,
one.
you're
All right, thanks so much for setting this up. This is amazing. This is such an honor to be. I never got to catch the. I wasn't in the community back in the day when the original volleyball practices were on, but this is super cool to be here. And yes, I mean, just like Jesse was saying, I mean, we were sat like literally right next to each other, just going off on the day for Amsterdam, and it was such an honor. And friends is what I think of now as SPX. I think that was the difference. Before I kept saying community, and then going up to Amsterdam, it's only an hour flight. I was like, holy crap, there's like, these are my friends. This is literally where I spend like all my time on the internet, and they're real. They're real people, and it just, yeah, it's like Jesse's saying, it's something to really be experienced, because the idea of we're always euphoric is, I've literally never had a feeling like that before. I've never had so many people just to call friends, and I think that's such a deeper feeling for me now. So yeah, if you've got an opportunity to get to one, I mean, we're gonna do one in the UK. We're gonna do just a comedy get together. We're gonna do once a month. So if anyone's in the UK, I know it's not the easiest journey, but if you're in London, 25th of this month, we're going to do one each month, and it's just for that reason, just because it was actually Ruben's idea, which I thought was fantastic, because it's just kind of like, yeah, we just go off to work. We're just going to go watch comedy together. So yeah, if you're around, come on over. But it's just things like that where it was incredible to see, like, get to Amsterdam and there's Mike, and we've been like doing spaces together for a year. I can't even explain it. It's unreal. And then it's a completely different feeling, because you go in there and there's Ruben, and there's Evil Candy Bar, and we hang out already in London, and it's like that familiarity already is such a trip. So yeah, so damn grateful just for friendship. Like, that sounds kind of crazy and a bit cringe, but in this age of like, the age that we're in, it's like invaluable. So yeah.
Very well said. And I think we should also mention one of the most important things that happened during the recent Amsterdam conference, in my opinion, was the premiere of the documentary, the SPX6900 documentary that STBC has created. And I think it is one of the best onboarding tools that I've seen so far. And I think people should share the YouTube link to this documentary with other people to onboard somebody. It's truly remarkable because, first of all, I don't think any other coins other than BTC or Ethereum have documentaries made about them, really. And it's like, I've heard from people already, from like a dozen people or more, is that it's a very clean, easy explainer, but also kind of a very inspiring journey. And you can tell in that documentary what kind of a large, almost a 3-year journey the community has already done, but also that there's still so much more ahead and how early we are, right? So SDPC, I see you in the audience, And I would like to give you a shout out as well. Amazing job on that documentary also, right? So I also truly believe that, just like the guys have already mentioned, the SPX6900 movement expanding from being just online to also having a massive real world presence in the form of the conferences, meetups, events. It's very logical, and it's also a very effective evolution of our movement, right? And this is exactly why we're seeing so many of these events coming up. So first of all, in case you guys don't know, there will be a Barcelona meetup next week between June 19th and June 21st. Furthermore, Aeons are also going to be gathering on Friday and Saturday, so between those dates. For more info, you can DM T-Dog at Aeon1414, as well as Aeon Moss, and also Don Ninguno, whose amazing videos and pictures from his activities in Barcelona you might have already seen in the last sort of 4 or 5 days already, and which already look amazing. The beautiful thing about these real life events is that not only do they massively bring people together emotionally in the real world, but also every time there is an event, a conference, or a meetup, it just lends itself to so much media that other people see online as well. And, you know, this is like proof of time, proof of patience, proof of real people, right? Something that's very, very difficult to fake. Like it's essentially impossible to fake. And when people see that people are going out of their way to kind of really show up in the real world and persist, it really makes them think that there is truly something special about this specific crypto asset and about this specific community, right? But that's not all. We also have, I believe, just like Zaimaka already alluded to, we have the SPX6900 London, UK meetup on the 25th of June at 6 p.m. Thursday. And again, you can DM Zaimaka, also known as Sepstrail, for more information. And furthermore, there's also, it's crazy how long this list is, by the way. There's also a major event, which is the SPX6900 South Carolina Conference, also known as Carolina Aeon, which will take place on June 27th in Greenville, South Carolina. There will be over 50 Aeons attending, which will be a big event. And shout out to Southern Fried Chad, who's organizing this event. There will also be amazing talks by none other than Crypto Cow, Cryptic Mange, and many other panels and other great speakers, Aeons as well. Southern Fried Chad, would you like to sort of give a couple of sentences about the event that you have planned out?
Yeah, I can do that. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we've got it's going to be about a 6-hour-ish event. Cal's opening up with a good presentation. So we have we'll have a couple panels, and then we have Cryptic Mange with another presentation. And then we have another panel, and we also have an SPX short film. It's very AI centered, and this can be right after the AI panel. Jordan Riz actually created that, so that's the first time I've mentioned it, but I've been trying to leave a bit of mystery there. And then we have one more panel, and then we have the SPX Man documentary put together by Chang. It is a fun one. And closing, and then we'll have a party afterwards till 11 p.m. essentially. So it's from like 12 to 6 p.m. Eastern, and then 6 to 11 is the hangout period. So a very long event, lots of content, and food will be provided as well, and there will be soft and alcoholic drinks as well. So it's gonna be a fun one. It'll also be live streamed starting at 12 p.m. And it'll go through the conference, so around 6 p.m. And all the details are pinned on my X profile. And another key point I want to mention is we have security. I personally am pro security, and I think this is a good idea going forward, in my opinion, because we're a crypto event, and we're dealing with money. I think it's important. So if you can DM me or comment me or get somebody else's attention, I have a group chat going, and essentially the event will be locked to those in the group chat. So be sure you get added to that, and that's just for everyone's safety. I just want to make sure everybody knows that who wants to attend. But that is pretty much it. I'm very excited. I do want to mention real quick, since I'm talking about the Amsterdam conference and the Miami one as well. I said both and live streamed both. Amsterdam, well, first start Miami. It was incredible. It was amazing to meet Spacey, and a lot of the OGs were there actually, which was really cool and interesting. So that was an amazing event, a lot of fun. I think it was good to like, yeah, to that was a good one to start with, and I think it helped show us like a roadmap of how to make these successful and lean into things that made it successful. And Amsterdam, I think, leaned into that very well, with the panels and the talks and all of that. It was an incredible experience. And Seb, with the hoo-ha thing, was the best moment of the conference, in my opinion. I think primal energy is always the best energy, in my view. So that was an incredible moment. Everybody was there, and it was literally euphoric as hell. I'm not gonna lie, it was incredible. So if you, hopefully, you got a taste of it from the stream, but actually being there, I don't think you can quite put into words. But anyways, hopefully we'll capture some of that energy in Carolina, and I hope it's going to be a blast. We got people from all over the U.S. coming, and we even have one international dubbing. Shout out to dubbing for making that happen. So really, really excited, and I can't wait till the one in Miami at the end of this year. That's all I got to say.
SFC, can you just demonstrate what was that hoo-ha thing you were talking about?
Ooh, the Eons are here.
It's Aeons!
But not Aeons, Eons.
It was truly iconic, and I think the euphoria was definitely felt for those of us who weren't able to make it. I mean, I can only speak for myself, but it was felt. So thank you for that.
And congratulations too. I'm happy everything's going well with the pregnancy and everything. So
thank you so much. I just wanted to interrupt for a second. I know Murad was really the one kind of leading this discussion, but I just wanted to say, SFC, it was like truly an honor to meet you. And the work that you do for SPX cannot be understated by any means. Like, you are literally documenting what is going to turn out to be, what has already turned out to be like a paradigm shifting moment in the world of finance. So I'm really glad that we have you sort of, I don't want to say leading these efforts because it's DeFi, but like, you really took it upon yourself to make sure that these things are being documented and that we could always go back, decades from now when we're still doing this. So I really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for that. I mean, I never would have thought it would have gone to this level. I mean, I knew it was going to happen, but I don't think I could have imagined it, to be honest with you. So, and huge shout out to T-Dog and all the guys, you know who you are, that did what y'all did for Amsterdam. Incredible work. Amazing. And also wanted to shout out to somebody else who's documenting really well. Big 6900. Big is, he records all of the X spaces, pretty much. I think like every one that happens, and puts them on YouTube. So I'm sure he's going to do this one, because this is definitely one he should be doing. I'm sure he will, though. So shout out to him, and KN, who started the German podcast, and Aeon's Online, who are doing their thing in Australia, Hoodish and Riz, and so many more. I can't even think of them all, but yeah, I don't want to say I'm leading it. I don't think I am. I think it's just all natural, and I'm hoping that there's people who, I think there will be people that are way capture way bigger mind share in the future, and I think it's going to be really cool to see how it all transpires.
Incredible. Speaking of Jordan Riz, last but not least, there will also be an SPX6900 meetup in Melbourne, Australia on the 11th of July. And feel free to message at Jordan Riz for more information about that as well. One more thing I want to say is, what are some other avenues that Eons can put their efforts in?
It's Aeons, Murad! It's Aeons! Aeons like crayons!
I
sorry.
We got the majority.
No, it's not how it works! It's been Aeons since day one!
It's been aeons for eons.
Right. So what should the SPX6900 community members be focused on? I think, and I've always been saying this for a really long time, I think one of the main focuses should be videos. I'm a big believer that, like, within the confines of your home or whatever, like, if you want to have a disproportionate positive impact on the community, I think videos is probably the highest impact, highest leverage thing you can do. Videos on YouTube, videos explaining what is SPX6900, videos explaining how to buy SPX6900, videos talking about all of the topics surrounding SPX6900. I'm a big fan of that in particular, how SPX6900 tackles them. And there's just so many things to talk about, right? There is, inflation, cost of living crisis, AI already taking people's jobs, which is going to accelerate even more, obviously, loneliness epidemic, the meaninglessness of sort of post-modernity, and so on and so forth, right? And I am personally focused on creating videos on YouTube as well, both about SPX6900 as well as adjacent topics, and also posting these videos, like cutting them up and posting them as shorts, both on YouTube and other platforms as well. In general, over the past several months, so many Aeons have stepped up and are doing an amazing job with videos. And I would like to shout out Vasily, Audacious, Zaimaka, Jordan Riz, Don Ningunyo, TradFi Nightmare, SPX Filmmaker, Aeon Reborn, Mike Semler, Ben Ops, Slow, Tenzin, Sarkan, Hector, and of course, all of the podcasters and Spaces hosts. I've always said that when the time comes, and I think we're getting there, when we have at least, 20, 25, 30 video makers that are consistently putting content out there, that is going to be like a really, really powerful thing, almost like a turbine that continues churning, that continues putting content out there. And I'm obviously trying to be one of those guys as well. IRL meetups, conferences, events are something that is incredibly important. And shout out again to everybody who's organizing, attending, and making SPX6900 IRL events happen. You have no idea how important it is to make real life connections and experiences to grow the community. Especially, this is, by the way, this is how Bitcoin grew to trillions, I think. And this is how SPX6900 will grow to trillions as well. And especially nowadays, with the people spending 9 hours a day on their phone, on the computer, essentially digital pixels, almost becoming like a simulacra of real life. It's more important than ever. And I think communities, and especially hyper passionate, united communities like this, are going to grow even more in their value and in their popularity. And just kind of a side note, I want to say, for me, in my mind, the thesis for SPX6900, it's growing stronger and stronger every week, right? Because all of these topics that not just myself, but many people in the community have been talking about, since 2024 and all of 2025 and the first half of 2026 so far. Again, whether it's, money printing, inflation, cost of housing, the difference between housing and prices, and housing and salaries, massive debt of all kinds all over the world, how expensive the stock market is, how expensive all of the quote unquote financial assets are relative to, what Gen Z can achieve, right? In many ways, the American dream, the European dream, they're pretty much dying a slow death. And few people are talking about this. And, boomers will often tell you that, you're lazy, you're not working hard enough. Back in my day, I used to just walk into the building, give them a firm handshake and get a job. Obviously, the world has become like 100 times more hyper competitive since then. All of the niches are super saturated, super hyper competitive, and AI is going to be directly coming for 85% of them as well, right? And every day, and I think as AI gets better and better, all of these trends that I've just mentioned and many, many others, they're going to intensify not linearly, but parabolically, right? And in my mind, essentially community building is going to be the last man standing, so to speak. It's going to be the next iteration of a quote unquote job. And in my mind, I think these tokenized communities, tokenized movements, where SPX6900, I think we are ahead of our time by years, right? And essentially the way I see it in the future, because there will be relatively few opportunities for people to make money in a traditional kind of income salary style way, more and more people are going to be naturally attracted to these tokenized communities where you are essentially working on their behalf in a true swarm-like fashion. But instead of getting a monthly, weekly salary or whatever, you're essentially gunning for the valuation community to grow together with the number of members, and then you make money in this sort of capital gains way rather than in this sort of income style way. And I think that's the future, right? And I think this is going to be a major force in this sort of post-AI transition that we're going to be seeing. Aeon Reborn has made a ton of videos, materials, charts, sort of promoting and pushing this thesis even better than myself in many ways. And I would recommend you guys to familiarize yourselves with sort of his account and some of the stuff that he's been putting out as well. But the bottom line is, this, I think, is sort of the next big asset class. This is going to attract, I think there's going to be over 1 million people, very likely several millions of people that are going to be joining this. And right now we're building the foundation for them to come. And I think it's our responsibility to make sure that the community is scalable, the community is welcoming, the community sort of provides all the tools that people need, provides, like, educates all of the new coming members, because there will come a point, in my opinion, there will come a point where we're going to be getting tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, new members every month. And when the next run starts, I think we're going to go to hundreds of billions in pretty much almost like a vertical fashion. Right? This is what I believe is going to happen. And we just have to be mentally prepared for that, accept the growth in members with grace, accept the growth in popularity in a graceful manner. And we should be mentally prepared for something like this, right? And the more we go sideways, this is how the financial markets work. The more we go sideways here, the more vertical the subsequent move is going to be when it actually ends up happening, right? But this is just something important to consider. And we are essentially building, without sounding overly dramatic, but I think in a financial sense, we're building a bit of a Noah's Ark from a financial point of view, in my opinion, right? And I think the people that find this community, when it's the right time for them to find it, I think they're really going to thrive, right? So just like Matt Beck said, it really is an idea whose time has come. And I'm really just super happy and super proud to be on this journey with you guys.
I think first step, it would be great if Europeans could pronounce the name of the NFT project properly. if we we're going to scale vertically and have all of these, it's about educating the new people, we should probably be saying the name of the project properly, please. Please, it's been 2 years. It's not up for discussion or debate what you want to call it. Aeon. Aeon.
Aeon.
Project Aeon.
Holy moly.
Hype, if you really want it to resonate, then you need to invent your own version of hoo-ha.
It's not fucking resonate or some bull. It's literally the name of the project. It's like deciding that Miladies are just called Milady now. Let's just call them Milady.
I've actually gotten roasted for how I pronounce Milady. Or no, I think maybe it was how I spelled it, because when it's plural or something, it's supposed to not be IES or something. I don't remember. I definitely got corrected on Milady at some point.
Yeah, no, my bad on the hoo-ha, because it just came out.
Oh no, we love the hoo-ha. I'm saying if hype wants something to stick, it's gotta coincide with a movement or something.
It shouldn't need to fucking stick. It shouldn't need, like, it's like, what are we just gonna call SPX Spooks?
Well, when you put it in, when you do the voice to speech on CapCut, sometimes it does call it specs. Those of us who are using CapCut know. You sometimes have to choose a voice on the basis of which one pronounces it SPX rather than specs. But yeah. No, but I wanted to, I felt like, I'm sorry, this is a little bit of a change in subject. But we had Idea Hazard on stage, and we did not even harass him about what supplements he's currently using. And we've really come a long way. And I would say none of this would have been possible without the assistance of pine pollen and shilajit.
I've heard Shilajit the other day. Someone was like, I'm taking Shilajit. And I was like, no.
So for everyone in here, I'll just give you a little context. Back in the day when volleyball first started, every day Idea Hazard would come up here and tell us about some new supplement he's trying to boost his testosterone. Now, for a little bit of context, and this is going to sound really, really crazy, I would like to play you a song that's going to help you understand why Idea Hazard needed his testosterone to be boosted. So really quickly, this is kind of like OG lore, maybe, I don't know. And yes, I'm taking you on like a little bit of a detour from what we were just talking about, but I'm going to mute this. I'm going to play it from my account. I'm about to play you one of Idea Hazard's favorite songs, self-reported. One of his self-reported favorite songs. So hold on, I'm gonna do me a favor. When the song comes on, please like give thumbs up so I know that sound is actually coming through. Okay, 1 second. Here we are. All right, everyone. Idea Hazard's favorite song. Is it feedbacking?
Holy shit.
I watch the sunlight dance across your face. Everything just slipped away. All my thoughts seem.
All right, I'm gonna fast forward. Hold on. Oh, okay. Maybe I won't feedback this time. All right, let me fast forward a little bit.
Heard enough.
Oh, okay. Anyway, that song is called "Breathe" by Faith Hill, and yes, Idea Hazard has admitted that this is one of his favorite songs. So anyway, so with that being said, Idea Hazard frequently takes supplements to try and boost his testosterone, and pine pollen is one of them, and shilajit is another. And yeah, for some reason, I heard someone talking about shilajit like years after Idea Hazard first started talking about it. So I think it's actually become pretty popular. I don't know. I don't know the research behind it, but yeah, I had to just shout that out. I was hoping to do that while he was on stage.
Tell Idea Hazard that Dr. Jesse can help him with his testosterone in many other ways.
I will. I'll PM him about that right now, as a matter of priority.
There you go.
Can we get any?
Well, 2 years ago, Jesse.
Jesse, we really could use you.
I'm actually, guys, just so you know, if any of you Aeons, part of my practice is longevity and regenerative medicine. So I'm very, very, very good and certified in getting people's levels and stuff like that without taking testosterone, natural ways, peptide ways, supplement ways, in a very safe and calculated, controlled way. So I'm very into longevity medicine. If anybody wants to hit me up or has questions about how to maybe, increase their hormones or decrease their hormones or get healthy on peptides and supplements and stuff that I can't stand big pharma. I hate big pharma, the death machine. There's lots of ways to get people healthy without getting on pills made by big pharma.
You're definitely speaking my language. I think it's so awesome. Like, we have people like Jesse. Everyone in here kind of like brings their own sort of knowledge to the table. And the fact that I guess it would be nice if we had a platform where we could kind of like share things specific to our own expertise. Where like if someone's looking for information on supplements,
I was going to suggest.
Yeah.
I was going to suggest at either Art Basel,
Yeah.
At some of these in real life events, we can start to have booths with people. Like, if I could have a booth, a medical booth that just at our in life conference, or
That's
someone could have an
cool.
art booth. Like we could have like Arcane Vault or anybody or Chang
Yeah.
can have a booth with their music or their art creations and stuff like that. Once now that these events are becoming more regular and bigger, where I have no problem sharing my services and my professionalism with outside of SPX and what I write about it. Like I would not have a problem setting up a booth at, let's say, Art Basel, right next to Spacey, who has her booth with all the art that she did last year, something like that. It just we can start to have booths as well at these meetups, I believe.
I love that concept. Yeah. No, I think
Like a real conference, like at all the conferences where they have the convention booths.
I love that. No, because it's like, I think ultimately, like one of the things I do when I'm kind of fantasizing what SPX looks like, let's just say, I don't know, 20 years from now. I'm saying 20, but maybe less than that, I hope. And to me, it looks like, I'll like window shop these 200-acre properties that already have like 7 to 10 houses built on them that have a water source and all this stuff. And like, if we could create like a self-sustaining sort of community, what would that look like, and what kinds of people would we need to have there based on their different expertise in different areas? So I think we can kind of replicate that. I think what you're saying about the conferences is really a brilliant idea, to sort of have something along those lines first at the conferences, because also it'll help us see who we have.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
when I went to Amsterdam, I mean, like, there's no reason that, like, I mean, he doesn't want to be his face isn't seen, but, like, STPC would have a booth if anybody ever need any kind of video service, maybe for a wedding or for whatever, or for whatever your projects are, or there's so many photographers and there's so many artists and there's so many professionals and there's so many financial advisor type people that people don't know what their real profession or what they can bring to the table until you actually meet these people and see these people. So if you're going to be going to an in real life event, you might as well display to the cognosphere, if you want to, obviously, or if you're interested, what you have to offer that may be able to help people. Like Mang, he does his workouts, and maybe he has a workout protocol that could help some people or something like that. I'm just throwing it out there. Hype. I could see Hype doing his radio show one day from conference.
Streaming live. Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? So, like, these are the types of things that are the next level that we're at now. After Amsterdam, I can honestly tell you that we're there now.
I think it's a brilliant idea. I mean, it's something we're way out from Art Basel for this upcoming December. It's something we should definitely discuss more. I'm glad that you put the idea out there, because I feel like it has time now to sort of like brew a little bit, and we'll see what we come up with. But yeah, I guess maybe it starts out just by putting out a general poll to the community, um, like what kind of knowledge and or services are you interested in offering to other people in SPX, and then we just go from there and subdivide it and maybe have different sections.
Like for me personally, just for me, like my speech or my lecture at Amsterdam, I have no, and I'm not a techie. I've been in tech for long, but I'm not techie. I have no idea how to chop my lecture up into like 5 or 6 different parts for short videos, like Mariah was saying. I need help in that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think, and getting people connected to the right people so we could be as efficient as possible. Like we were just, I talk about this with Munchies a lot, how we are kind of like this self-assembling organism. And I think that is one of the things that we strive towards, is like how to scale efficiently. So I think like building an infrastructure through which we can, and I think Mike is kind of in the workings through Aeon Terminal of creating something along those lines, which would give us the infrastructure to be able to say, I need this done, or like, and for the person who has those skills to be able to jump in and say, I'm going to take this one. But yeah, I do think once we get that infrastructure in place, hopefully we can get people utilizing it like relatively quickly. Shout outs to Mikey, by the way. I see some cool stuff going on recently with Aeon Terminal, the game that you're working on. Mikey, did you want to say anything about it while you're up here?
Hi, girls.
I'm sorry, I didn't
Yes,
greet you
thank you.
properly. Hey, girl. My
Hey,
bad.
girls.
Sorry, Mikey, I'm rusty. We haven't done SPX spaces like this in a while, although I do love coming to Monday on. So a quick aside, show up to Monday on Spaces tomorrow with Mike and Seb. But yeah, Mikey, tell us a little bit about what you've been working on, if you don't mind. And talking about, I see your hand. We'll definitely jump right to you ASAP.
Yeah, so I'm trying to create a hub of tools for Aeons. There is a place for voting proposals. There is a place that is a job board where you can literally do what you wanted to do, Jess, like asking for a service or someone to make a job. And if you have skills or competence, you can just put an article to say, I'm doing this. And if you need, I can work for this price or whatever, like having some.
Oh, that's perfect. So that's going to be on your Aeon terminal. All right,
yes,
good.
yes.
I just used one of our artists like that to help me with some of my Aeons, and they did some work. And obviously, I tipped them. But now that I know, I didn't know that there was a place to do that till you just mentioned it.
It's kind of it was kind of
yeah,
like loosely I made it as a request, but Mikey just like takes things and runs with them. And yeah, I think Mike, it's not yet deployed, right?
No, it's like
Yeah.
on tests because I'm continuing to add some features, and like now I'm making a little retarded game to to onboard and have new people being there where you can speak by voice with other people, like a little metaverse or something like that. And you have a chat. You have many tools. In fact, I'm in the last moments of working on it, and when it's done, I will open it and promote it to all Aeons to test it and stress test it. Sorry, and after it will be released. Yeah.
That's amazing stuff. Hold on. This Warren. We really appreciate everything you've been doing. And like just things like some of the things you're doing are just literally meant to bring joy to the cognosphere. And I wanted to kind of say, I guess to that point, there's been a lot of that lately. And just give a couple of shout outs. Like, I want to say there's a DePonzi and Mike side quest that they did in Amsterdam that I keep like kind of hinting at, but it's really their thing to share. And I'm really dying for them to share it. So I keep bringing it up until until they do share it with the world. But there's some good stuff people have done. Yeah, just to bring joy to the timeline. And I think especially when market sentiment is so low, this has always been something that is characteristic of SPX, or that SPX has done really well. So it's cool to see like DePonzi and Mike doing things like this, which again, it's not my thing to sort of reveal. But hopefully they'll put some of that footage out. So just bringing joy to the timeline is very sort of Aeon coded, in my opinion. And I want to shout out like Zarkan has been sort of, I want to say, reviving some of the sort of like schizo energy that we used to have in 2023. And just say like how how well it balances with like the way SPX has kind of evolved. We have like these beautifully eloquent articles being written by people like Hee Haw. And we have these really awesome videos by people like Audacious, kind of like fitting in like where SPX fits into certain like policy changes, for example, like the Clarity Act. And so it's really nice to still have that balance of like, we still have the schizo energy that we were always characterized by. And I just think that they all play so well together. So yeah, so anyway, I wanted to shout those things out, and I really wanted to give Idea Hazard, like loosely mentioned it, but I did want to shout out the Bronze Army because I feel like this week was like the week of the Bronze Army. Like they dominated the timeline. The memetics were so good. And just like like having the sort of audacity, but still doing it in a sort of like Aeon coded way. I just wanted to shout them out, like, you know, Unk, Nenolit. There's a huge group of them. And you guys are all superstars. I think like they won't accept me into the Bronze Army, unfortunately, even though I keep begging and even though I keep tweeting and reply guying to try and show them that I really belong in the Bronze Army. But anyway, I identify as Bronze Army. I think Undie has by default put me into Tofu Army because I am a vegan. I love Tofu Army. It has been made drastically better because we have Mikey, who I don't believe is vegan. Mikey, are you vegan? Oh, wait.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I
No,
was
I'm
gonna
not
say.
vegan. No,
Well,
I'm
okay.
joking.
So the Tofu Army thing, I think we've decided to pivot to actually making fun of people who like tofu because we realized that bull posting tofu is like not really a popular thing to do. So I think we'll have our time to shine. I think it's maybe not yet. But yeah, I know Tottenbout, I think you had your hand up, so I wanted to pass it over to you. You've been with us like really from the beginning also, and definitely coming to some of those late night spaces, sort of in the in-between during 2024 when sentiment was low. So shout outs to Tottenbout. How have you been? Oh, I hope he's here. Oh no.
Down bow, down bow, down bow.
We're channeling Tottenbout. No.
What's up?
Oh, what's
Hey,
up? I feel like I haven't heard your voice in so long. It's so good to hear from you.
yeah, great to hear from y'all as well. I'm so glad that Sunday Spaces are here, whether it's one time or every Sunday for the next 5 years. I'm completely blown, like thinking back to 2023 and 2024, like can't imagine what like with the Aeon conference and all the different spaces and all the content that's out right now. Like it was, I don't want to say it was unimaginable, but it's really awesome to see. So I appreciate everybody's hard work. And if you've been in crypto for a year or two, or you've been in for a long time, this is really special. It really is. And you know, it's going to look dark when the whole world has transitioned to crypto, which it does right now. Yeah. So, other thing I wanted to say was the conferences can be looked at like mini cities, like mini temporary cities already. So the more we do it, the more it turns into the actual physical infrastructure where we have a house, like you were talking about, Spacey.
And talk
So-
about, do you remember back in the day, we used to talk about making our own stock exchange?
Yeah, that too. Yeah, for sure. I mean, Mon, we do have those. We got those pairs that are still out there.
Yeah.
I think it's cool that we tried it and like, but actually like we could call it the stock exchange or whatever as the name of the laces, right? Or however we
Right,
want to.
right.
But like,
Right.
like literally, we're a digital community. Like, what is a digital community? A community is based around a physical place as well. So like, we bleed into the physical community now, and I think SPX has the highest. The reason why I was so bullish on SPX in the beginning, I was like, this has the closest potential to actually build physical infrastructure, like nothing I've seen since early Bitcoin and like Ethereum bases, which already kind of exist in some way, but not as good.
Yeah, I really do think it's like getting close to that time where we just need to, a group of us get together, get a property, and like see what we could build out together.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
And
And I agree with you on like the timeline of this thing scaling the way it did. Like, never could have anticipated that either at the time.
yeah, another thing to consider for like people who are like, that's too big, like buying property, it's like too big of a dream, or like, oh yeah, in 10 years, you could start. I started one for Bitcoiners. I had an Airbnb, so I was renting it out as like a mini hostel, and I had an extra space, and I was like, any Bitcoiners that want to come here, and they started showing up, and then we started doing like radio shows or like a podcast, and it became like a third space for Bitcoiners. So like you don't need a lot. You could rent and then turn it into a Bitcoin or a SPX space. Like you don't need to buy the place. You just need to figure out how to do it.
I like
How to
where
make it
you're
work.
going. I like where you're going with that. I've actually mentioned to a couple of people within the community that I would really love to do, whether it's a weekly or a monthly thing in New York, where we work in this sort of like collaborative space together. So I
Yeah.
agree with you. People organize around physical locations, and like it could
Yeah.
start off as something that is not like you're not committing to living there 24/7, 365 days a year, but instead, like you said, something where people can just carve out a certain amount of time per week or something and get to the same physical space and collaborate with one another. Yeah.
Exactly. And it doesn't, in the beginning, it could even be like a small office space or like the back of somebody's bar that's not really crowded, or, like being like a temporary rental for like 3 months in the summer where we all crowdfund like 10 grand, which really isn't a lot if you think about it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know like Hypey, if you're still up here, we've discussed like even just doing like a little sort of like Aeon camp type of thing that we could, work towards actually realizing an idea like that maybe in the near future. And I don't know if maybe we try and make it coincide with one of the next upcoming conferences where we say, okay, people are going to be gathering anyway in Miami. And maybe the week leading up to it, or maybe the week following the event, like if we're going to host a conference, we also get like this Airbnb where we get all the Aeons together for a certain amount of time. And this is the goal of, or like this is the list of things that we aim to accomplish while we have everyone together. And probably obviously dependent on who even can commit to it. That'll obviously determine the direction, and it should just, of course, be a consensus sort of mechanism, not like some random person being like, "This is what needs to get done." But yeah, cool.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Space, can I just bring up one thing real quick about Art Basel 2026?
Yeah, go for it.
Anybody who's interested in helping, just get ideas together and everything. Grill Ape is the one. He's in here now. He texted me privately to just bring it up that if anybody wants to kind of get on a panel or a group to help us really get going with this thing, which we're gonna do, contact Grill Ape.
Yeah, thank you for that, Jesse. Gorilla Ape was like completely instrumental in getting last year's organized, and is like a just genuinely amazing, hardworking, trustworthy guy, which anyone who was there last year would be able to attest to. So definitely hit him up if you're interested. If you forget who to reach out to, just hit me up and I'll point you in his direction. But he's down in the audience right now. Gorilla Ape. Gorilla Ape TRW is his handle.
What was
Nice.
it? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Spacey.
Oh, go ahead, Seth.
The camp thing, is that like tents? Like
I don't
marshmallows and tents?
me personally, that's not where my mind goes because I don't know that I'm like the tent camping kind of person, but maybe, I mean, for Aeons, I probably would give it a try if we want to go that route. I don't know. I mean, I would even love to get us to do something that's like physical building, but like maybe taking one of those earthen home courses where like we go and like we build an earthen home together, like a cob cottage or something. But I don't know, that feels more like almost like a team building activity, but with like practical value of, okay, if we are going to have eventually this property that we all build homes on and we're like living kind of in this self-sustaining sort of community, it might be a good skill to have. So no, I think like it could be whatever the organizers want it to be. So it could be anything from a tent to an Airbnb to a warehouse space, or like, and anything in between.
Yeah, that's very true. Another part to this is that this would be the biggest unlock for generating income too, as an option to bring in non-SPX people who are interested in the thing. They see the value that you get from a hostel or extra housing that's in a centralized location, and then you bring more people into this cognosphere that we already know about. Like, that's the biggest unlock that I could think of for crypto in the first place. Like, actually using the money, actually operating as off grid, actually flipping the stock market.
Yeah, I totally agree. Hell yeah.
Could I
Does that make the most sense for like SPX sort of like LLC to like acquire property and then Airbnb those properties out to Aeons?
Yeah, I mean, you could do it. You could basically choose how many spaces are open to non-SPX people as well. Like if you have like a room with like 6 bunk beds and then like somebody who's already needs to pay rent in that area, they're kind of the manager. That's how I used to set up my Airbnbs. Like somebody takes care of the place for free rent and then manages it. And then the other people are paying and you can close it off if you're like, all right, this doesn't work. Let's rent it out to somebody else, or this does work. Let's open up another room, or even have it like a co-working third space kind of thing.
Yeah. That's sort of the cleanest way to do things.
I like that concept. And intentionally position ourselves very close to like cities that are high traffic, huge vacation destinations, so we get exposure to people from all over the world.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's actually super cool. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah. And then you have like I look at each location as a node that carries the culture, and it's got like, it's got enough people coming through so you don't get hierarchies or like stagnancy. But, and then you can move to each one and it's got all this infrastructure at it, like things that you can't travel with, like a 3D printer or like a studio or like whatever else that is needed to build content and bring new people in.
Yeah, I love that. And with the focus being on like participatory, like the participatory nature of it, and like human empowerment, like empowering people to just like physically do things themselves.
And as soon as you meet all the Aeons, you want to be in, like you want to buy SPX to be like, whether it's $20 or one coin, like you meet us and then you're in the gang.
Yeah, that's super cool. I love it. Yeah.
Well, stuff like that would take off in terms of like media attention, wouldn't it? If people saw there was like a rebel alliance making bases, that would capture so many hearts. I think like everything that SPX does captures hearts. It just needs to catch the wind, and then it's a recipe for success.
Yeah, I think what you're saying, Seb, is totally true. It's like we would almost have to just start at one location, make it this super magical and charmed thing. And then we've created the model, right? That can then be replicated in other places. So like, okay, for example, many people don't know this, but on the side of like teaching and everything else I do, I'm a birth doula. And the reason I became a birth doula was to help women give natural birth. And it's kind of a stepping stone if you think that there's a chance you may want to become a midwife. And one of the people who revolutionized midwifery in the United States, her name is Ina May Gaskin. And Ina May Gaskin created this place called The Farm. And The Farm was a place back in, I think, the 60s. I could be getting that decade wrong, but somewhere around there. Was basically created a location. It was this big property with a bunch of different cottages and a bunch of midwives who would live on the premises. And anyone could travel from anywhere and could deliver their baby on the farm. And it had a lake and it had like all these special sort of magical features to it. But it was meant to be this sort of very like woman-centered location where it wasn't this cookie cutter birth. You weren't going to be like churned through the system as quickly as possible, which tends to happen in hospitals. And it just became this like crazy phenomenon. Now that wasn't replicated anywhere else. I believe there was just one. It was in Tennessee, if I'm remembering correctly, but it's been a while since I've read about it. But it was this special thing that drew a lot of attention because it was totally like anomalous and had not been done before and was not soon to be replicated. So I think if we do something along these lines, it is a good idea. Maybe just concentrate our attention on the first location, whatever that looks like for us. And then once we get it right, then we go ahead and scale it, maybe to other places, other continents, whatever. But yeah, it's a really good concept. I love it.
Yeah, that's perfect. And it's just like we could just focus on the human aspect of SPX, right? Like that's the intention. Whereas the other one is like women's doulas. Like this one is like
exactly.
the human aspect of SPX.
Yeah. And like what it means to embody like not being standard and poor, like self-sufficiency, like you said, like like these, like living off the land properly, like aquaponics, hydroponics, whatever, We're growing our own food. Like we're on our own energy grid. Yeah, so I think all of these things, really, even if people just do it as like I'm going to pass through and experience what life is like in this little sort of like, people travel to like Amish country to experience a different lifestyle. And even if it's just pass through, sometimes it has like these profound effects on the way people live their lives and the way they perceive of the world around them. So I think the impact would be there, regardless. But yeah, nice. I see we have STPC up here, and I don't think we got a chance to hear from you. How have you been?
I'm good, thank you. I hopped on to speak about Amsterdam, but everything has been said so far.
Well,
So,
I really do want to hear your take on the documentary. Like, what prompted you to do it? How did you figure out like the general framework for the structure of it? Like, I guess like your process is not clear to me, but I know how much time and effort you put into it. So, first of all, amazing job and congratulations. I'm glad it was so well received, which I, wouldn't have expected otherwise. But yeah, like, do you mind sharing a little insight into like what your process was?
no, it would be a pleasure. Thank you so much, and thank you also, Mural, for the shout out. So, I joined SPX, and I was speaking a little bit to the Ponzi, T-Dog, and Mike, and every time I was hearing about bits of lore here and there, and I was like, this is so amazing, and I'm pretty sure there are not a lot of people that know about this stuff. So first I picked up the timeline that Mike made of the website, and then I DM'd a ton of OGs to try and verify what happened, including you, and thank you so much for your help, to have more info and create a very comprehensive guide to everyone joining the Cognosphere on what happened before, because, to write the next chapter, you gotta know what happened before, you gotta be proud of your roots. So that was kind of the motivation to do that, to give to the people a very quick way to summarize SPX, even though it's pretty short, right? I would have loved to do something bigger, but it's a good entry to SPX to understand the lore and be able to build the future self, knowing what happened before.
Well, I think like the length of it ended up being totally perfect because it's very concise and to the point, which Murad kind of alluded to. But also it doesn't yet say like, oh, it's over. You know what I mean? Like there was a misstep, in my opinion, that happened during the GameStop short squeeze saga. And the misstep was like a full blown documentary was created and it wasn't yet over. And so what you've kind of done is you've framed things and you've kind of left the end sort of open ended, which I think is like the beauty of, or is one part at least of the beauty of what you've created, because it basically says like, this is not over. This is really only just the beginning.
It is the beginning, and it's really what I wanted to highlight. This is just a summary of what happened, because you gotta know the efforts that have been put here for you to be here, but now it's your turn to build. It was really the message I wanted to get across.
Well, beautifully and like masterfully accomplished. Hold on, we gotta whip out the soundboard for this.
Thank you.
Okay, for some reason on my end, that clap came out sounding like it was possessed by demons. I'm sorry if it came through on your end that way. I hope it didn't.
I just want to say from my end, seeing the GameStop stuff, like I didn't see what else they were doing. They might have been doing other stuff, but like after the documentary, if you just see the same stuff happening again, it's kind of like, all right, I know all I need to know. Versus us, like we have a new conference, like we're doing new stuff. There's always somebody in the street with a sign. That kind of tells me that it's still going on as well.
Yeah, no, I think that's totally fair. Like, the only thing that was still happening from what I can remember when the documentary came out was that people were direct registering their shares, which meant they were removing their shares from exchanges. So that was something like I participated in that. A lot of people did. But that's kind of effectively what we're doing right now. Anytime we buy on a centralized exchange and then move it over to, like a DeFi wallet. So people are removing their tokens now from centralized exchanges and SPX. And like Tom Bat just said, that's not the only thing people are doing, right? Like people are creating new podcasts, they're creating new conferences, they're making new videos. So there's just like so many things that speak to, I guess, like the vitality of the community, which is amazing. And yeah, it's like self-explanatory, totally.
Yeah, you see people in the streets versus just like, okay, I took my keys or I took my coins off. It's like, all right, that's cool, but what about for the people that don't have any at all that want to be part of it?
Yeah, right. Like in a way, like the whole direct registering of shares was a great concept. And it spoke to the sort of like, I guess, problem of payment for order flow, which people realized exchanges were not buying the shares or not executing the trade at the price that you set it at because they knew they could outtrade you. So sometimes you would go and buy shares, but they wouldn't actually have your shares just yet because they'd think, oh, we're going to get it at a better price. So that was the sort of initial intention, or like, I guess, motivating factor behind moving things off of exchanges. But yeah, no, I think you're right. In a way, that's like a very private thing. So like it happens in silo. It doesn't propagate. Yeah, like through the space or beyond the echo chamber of like the crypto Twitter space, or back then the Reddit space, I guess. So yeah, I think that's a good point.
I just want to say two last things before I leave the mic to someone else. First, for anyone going to any conference, or even before that, take the courage to meet an Aeon URL. Aeon, yeah, well, because it might change your life. Like Seb said, it's like meeting a friend you never knew you had. So I really encourage you to meet an Aeon however you can, and to film the fuck out of it. And I really mean it. Even in Amsterdam, I've got probably like hours of footage and 300 photos, and I feel like it's not enough. So for anyone meeting an Aeon, going to a conference, film with your phone, film everything. And the second thing, I really wanted to quickly shout out the Ponzi, because he hasn't been shouted out for the volleyball sponsor he made. It's so amazing. I really love it. I hope everyone has seen the videos, and I encourage you to check it out. He sponsored a tournament in the south of France, and you have volleyball players with an SPX t-shirt, and I think this is amazing. And since it's volleyball practice, it's gotta be shouted out.
I'm so glad. I am so glad you brought it up. I took a couple of notes of things I wanted to shout out, but then we had like some technical difficulties at the start of the space. But I was going to say the reason why it is so special we've started volleyball up again is it kind of is happening perfectly in parallel with the Ponzi sort of launching this volleyball sponsorship. And he has tweeted out, there is an Instagram you can follow. I see it like literally every day on my feed. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, the uniforms are SPX branded. And it's just totally on brand, I should say, for SPX6900. So STPC, thank you for bringing that back to surface, and huge shout out to DePonzi. Who DePonzi is like, I wish I could be just like DePonzi, because he just has these very sort of grand like ideas that he just goes ahead and pursues, and nothing can obstruct him. I feel like he's got insane like motion. He's got like inertia. Like he is an inertial being. And like he's just like going inexorably forward. The Ponzi entered the scene, for those of you who like maybe don't remember this, by putting a portal out somewhere in a city in France. And it was literally like an SPX branded like doorway that people could walk through. It was a portal. And he just like plopped it down and got like a little bit of footage and shared it. And I'm like, who is this guy? So anyway, huge shout out to DePonzi. He's also in the LitTat gang, which, by the way, I think I saw Slow in the audience. Am I hearing that Slow is meant to get an SPX LitTat? I don't know. Maybe it's just a rumor. Maybe it's just wishful thinking on DePonzi's part. But if it happens, definitely send us some photos so we can add to the collage. That was something that I had done, and then DePonzi, in my opinion, took it to the next level by getting an even cooler one. So yeah, that's kind of it's an old school sort of tradition in SPX. Okay, I see Manj. Manj, I can't tell if you're on stage. It's showing you as a listener right now.
Yeah, no, I'm on stage. Stacey, what's up?
Yo! Okay, first of all, it's great to hear from you. I'm really grateful that you showed up, that you're up as a speaker right now. And I want to give Manj a quick side shout out. Both Manj and Mikey collaborated on the dopest ever Aeon onesie for my my upcoming baby boy, whose arrival is now basically imminent. So shout outs to them. It was really a special touch. And Manj, what have you been up to?
Yeah, first of all, congratulations. Super excited for you. Honored to be up here. While you guys were talking about GameStop, I just wanted to hop on and say, so my presentation in South Carolina is essentially an in-depth dive into GameStop. And I did a ton of research. Sorry, I have the hiccups. Did a ton of research, watched a bunch of videos, and I just found that a lot of explanations left out a bunch of stuff. They left out payment of order flow. They left out gamma squeeze. And my goal is to do a very deep dive into GameStop, but in a good storytelling way, not just slam people with data, but then to explain how we are the evolution to GameStop, and the good things that GameStop did, and just system, they didn't fail, the system failed them, but then kind of how what we're doing is the evolution of it. And my goal is for it to be such a good explanation of GameStop that it kind of catches that algo and people could send it around hey, look, you remember GameStop? Check this out. We are the evolution of GameStop. That's the whole thesis behind my video, my presentation for South Carolina.
Man, I hadn't heard gamma squeeze since back in the Reddit days. You just took me back with that one.
Yeah, well, it's crazy because no one talks about when they explain GameStop, they don't talk about the gamma squeeze, and it's just super important to understand because
Yeah.
that's such a huge reason for the success, and then also
Yeah.
a huge reason why it died. That was why the buy button was so important. There's just a bunch of
Yeah.
steps that they just leave out. Like you were saying, registering the shares, that is completely parallel to what we're doing. Going to cold storage.
Yeah.
There's so many parallels between the two.
Hey,
Yeah,
Maj.
you know,
Maj, I never got to really talk to you and say hello. I just wanted to say hello, and I enjoy listening to you guys talk. And I wrote that Nick article just for you today, by the way.
Thank you. That was awesome, dude. I loved it.
Hello, Manj.
I mean, you know what? You know what I really think Monj just did? He just came up here to give me the peak amount of FOMO I could possibly experience surrounding this Carolina Aeon conference that's coming up. I'm really disappointed that I'm going to be missing this thing. If you get a chance and you're comfortable sharing it, I would love, even if it's after the presentation, I'm sure there will be footage of it, which I'll be looking forward to watching, but I would love to just geek out over whatever PowerPoint you make. So anyway, feel free to send me that so I can have a little bit of a walk down memory lane. And I just wanted to point.
It's almost done. I'll send it to you in a couple days.
Let's go. Oh my gosh, I love it. I just think it's such a beautiful thing that a lot of us, probably more people than would, be willing to reveal it, have been through that saga together, even though we didn't know each other yet. I think more OGs than not were also a part of GameStop, as far as I can tell. And so it's just so funny that we were part of that. We kind of saw the pros and cons of how things were done and what went right and what went wrong. And we kind of find ourselves in this vehicle that is maybe more perfectly positioned to sort of embody all of those. Really, we were all just looking for DeFi. And for me, that was how I found my way to DeFi meaningfully. And so, yeah, I just think it's kind of a beautiful thing that a lot of us probably overlapped without knowing it. Perhaps we're even interacting with each other through Reddit.
Not that we totally were, right? That's the evolution. That's an aspect of the evolution.
Exactly.
It was anonymous. It was anonymous. We didn't know, and there's so much more power in SPX because of the doxing. And,
exactly.
No, for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Well, awesome. Good luck finalizing the presentation, and What are the dates of that? It's like the 27th of June, I think.
Yeah, I think it's 26th to 27th.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you guys letting me hop up. I'm actually about to walk out into a lacrosse game, so maybe we'll be sponsored by SPX next season.
There you
But
go.
I
Hell
appreciate
yeah.
you. This is so cool being back. Yeah, this is great.
Awesome. Thank you, Monj. Love you.
Love you.
Oh, awesome. I see we have well, first of all, I mean, Maddox has been up here, and we all know Maddox to be the absolute king of DCA. And I just wanted to see if Maddox wanted to, say any words about SPX, like what has given you the level of conviction that you have, um, and like, I don't know, I guess. Sorry, I don't know if I'm not seeing who's a speaker right now. It's a little bit glitchy on my end, but yeah, Maddox, if you don't mind just sharing with us how you found your conviction to begin with and how it has managed to like stick with you, through like an ever changing like market landscape. And no pressure to talk, by the way. Give me a thumbs up if you're here, but you don't want to actually talk. That's okay, Maddox. Next time. I just didn't want to skip to Hee Haw. Hee Haw is up here without first giving you a chance because you've been up here this whole time. Maddox, we love you so much, and we really, really thank you for just being like you're kind of like an anchor in a sense. It's like, oh, like everyone on the timeline is fudding and saying crypto's going to zero. And then here's Maddox who comes along with like, his daily DCA. And it's like, oh, all right, well, Maddox is still confident. So I'm okay. Cause none of us are looking at charts because there is no chart. So sometimes you just have to look at the signal amidst all of the noise. And Maddox is definitely the signal. All right. Shout outs to Maddox. Hee haw. We haven't really spoken on Spaces in like many, many months, I feel like.
No, I don't think we have.
And I don't even recognize you with this profile picture.
It's my Marie Rose looking at the infinite green candle.
I love it. It's a great profile picture. But it must be the green candle that brings us to 69 trillion because otherwise there are no candles.
No, exactly. It's representational. It's not supposed to be literal.
I love it.
So,
I love it. I'm trying to remember which Aeon it was that I'm used to seeing you with.
814.
It has a lot of blue in it. Is that right?
She's got a surgeon mask, the
Yes.
MLG
Yeah,
glasses,
and the green hair,
and the
red hat,
and the red hat.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, I'm just making sure that I'm remembering properly. But yeah, Hee Haw again, similar to Top and Bout. We go way back to those very late night spaces when things were, I would say, more rough than they will probably ever be again because we just have so many people with so much conviction. What did you say, Hee Haw?
They were so fun though. Those are my fondest memories.
We had such a good time on those late night spaces.
Dude, because that was, gosh, and then I had to look forward in the morning to waking up at 5 a.m. to go to my job, and it's just like, it was worth it. It's like what I came home to and look forward to was hopping on spaces and just being like,
totally,
this is it.
Totally. Yeah. Well, how have you been? What have you been up to lately, aside from writing banger article after banger article?
Dude, I've been working on the best article I've ever written for the past week, and I can't stop getting it out of my head.
Oh wow!
And it's basically the philosophical proof for SPX and why nothing else works. I'm just gonna like, and I figured out why I am so obsessed with it. And I'll go into some detail with it. But so some people know about like Remelia, network spirituality and stuff. But for those that don't know what network spirituality is, essentially it's taking from Martin Heidegger had this view. There's two views of the world. You can view the world in enfrainment or in poiesis. And enfrainment was viewing the world through the lens of everything being like a standard reserve for potential exploitation. So a lumber, like a forest was a potential lumber yard. A river was no longer a river experientially. It was a hydroelectric power supply potentially. And humans are no longer humans relationally. They are, units of labor. So this view of enfrainment has infested everything. And network spirituality, which Remelia has coined that, took the internet itself out of that enfrainment mindset of, so our user data, instead of being this data center harvesting thing of our user data, of our attention, this commoditization of our souls, essentially, the network itself is a place for poesis, for this unfolding transcendence. SPX6900, I have realized why this is so riveting to me, why I can't get it out of my head, is because SPX has taken that same enfrainment versus poesis, but with value itself. Value has been ideologically captured, and it's been seen as the means of where you can allocate capital. It's like where it can be deployed, and it's not capital as this field for collective traversal or transcendence. Capital right now is viewed as a destination and not as this like relational field of which we cross over. And that's exactly what SPX is. It's literally taking that same thesis, but turning finance itself into poesis. It's like the first religion, the first conscious religion of finance. But I have a logical proof for it, like step by step of how this works, and building up to it. And I'm at around like 4,000 words right now, which is like double all my articles.
I'm really looking forward to
This
reading
sounds
that.
brilliant. Yeah, this sounds like you need to turn it into a presentation for one of these upcoming conferences.
I've been thinking about it because I think I need to, but I want to drop the article and then make maybe a presentation on it. But it's like, it's why I've been so freaking fascinated with SPX and why I'm so like disgusted with everything else and disillusioned with all of it, because I think that was the belief, the ideology, the philosophy that it was perpetuating, that like value itself has been like captured. But SPX relinquishes that. It's kind of like why there is no chart, because there is no chart. It's the mimetic rejection of enframing. And stop trading and believe in something is both the mimetic rejection of enframing and the invitation towards poesis of capital. So
that is super brilliant and so eloquently put. Wow.
Yep, I'm excited. It's probably gonna hopefully get out by end of June or before July 4th. But it's gonna take me some time. I want to really. This is gonna be my pinnacle, hopefully. So.
I have so many thoughts that I would like to respond with right now, but I really would like to first read your article. So I think we're going to need to revisit this conversation. Yeah, because I also feel like you have to finish this article totally uninfluenced, but oh man, I love where you're going with this.
Yep. This is so much bigger than just SPX. This is like a entire world paradigm shift.
Yeah.
SPX is just the first realization of this. That's why it's.
Well, I saw you kind of going back and forth with Danko in the Telegram about this, and I was like, oh shoot. I was like, that's a really good way of like sort of concretizing I could tell where you were going with it, but you didn't really say is like, now I have more of a complete picture, but oh man, I'm into it. And yeah, I think Danko fully is kind of on the same page as well.
Hell yeah. Well, I know Danko, I see him sometimes in Milady Village, and he's playing Milady Craft sometimes, so.
Yeah. I think you're speaking his language with that. And by the way, maybe he might be in here. If he's in here, Danko, shout out to you. We love you. Thank you for Project Aeon. And
absolutely,
yeah. Nice. Hee-haw, I can't wait. I was going to ask, you answered my question that was coming next, which was going to be, when are we getting the next banger article? So that's good to know. We have something to look forward to.
You do. You very much do. It's really long. It's long compared to other ones. But
does it warrant a 2-part drop, or like you want this?
No, I want this to be a cohesive thing, and have everything there.
So once you drop this one, we gotta. I don't know. I'm thinking we really need to do some pamphlets and go handing these out at universities, And I'm happy to like do the legwork or like do some of the legwork for that. But this sounds like it's going to warrant, like distribution of pamphlets, maybe on campuses.
Because if once this comes out and it gets to the right people, this one shots the entire meme coin industry. This one shots cryptocurrency. It's like one shots everything. Like there's no thesis for investment in anything else at this point.
Yeah.
It's kind of that profound. To me,
I could see that.
So,
hell yeah! Oh man,
it's right up my alley. I cannot wait to listen to that and read it.
I'm glad you guys are excited as I am. Like I was getting emotional when I finally like synthesized it. I'm like, why is this profound? Like I started getting emotional. My heart started racing. It's just like, whoa, what the hell did I just find? So
yeah, when you feel it viscerally, it's like that affirmation that you kind of need sometimes.
Yeah,
that this isn't just
that's beautiful.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh man,
May I bring up space? May I ask one more thing I was thinking about that I think it might be time to do that I had an idea about.
Yeah.
So just from traveling around and seeing Aeons in multiple different places, as far as going to Amsterdam and looking at people in Australia and people in all over in Africa and in Middle East and in South Florida, you think it's time to like open up some chapters of SPX? Like I want to open up the South Florida chapter of SPX with me and Grill Ape.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's something that's reasonable?
I've had a similar discussion with a few people in SPX surrounding like, I don't know the right way to frame it, and maybe this just requires discussion with more people so we could figure out what consensus says. But I was looking at it almost as like a sort of like fraternity, almost like a business fraternity that could be opened up on campuses. But people join like medical fraternities or business fraternities, etc. So I was thinking about it in that regard because it's like, okay, people are joining for a shared purpose and they'll collaborate on, like humanitarian efforts, but also social stuff. So I don't know. I mean, Jesse, what are your thoughts on what this looks like? You're thinking more broader geographically.
I'm just thinking on more. So in the last episode of Flip the Stock Market with they had their in real life podcast. It was about in real life events.
Yeah.
And seeing a lot of these pop-ups, not just conferences, but a lot of like these pop-up events where people are going to start to get together for like, I think Jasper, somebody said something about the comedy. So what I want to do is I want to start like a South, like there's obviously people in Australia that there's obviously people in Europe and you and me.
Form these little cohorts.
I just want to open up a South Florida chapter where we meet like once every 6 or 8 weeks and for happy hour or something, just something very simple.
No, I love it. I love that. And
obviously,
I'm happy to coordinate with you, and you do sort of, South Florida or like whatever region you're thinking, and I do like, like New England kind of area. But
exactly.
Yeah.
So anybody can do it anywhere. It's just like I would like to. I actually am interested in meeting because when I look at the map, the Aeon map, like there's a lot of people in Florida that I have not met, and I wouldn't mind hosting a happy hour once every couple of months for like the South Florida chapter. Now, obviously, anybody can come if they want to, but they don't. You can have it in your own area, but I think these in real life meetups are the most valuable thing because again, I just think in a world that is duplicated with AI and becomes not real, the most the most valuable asset will be authenticity and human to human interaction. And so, me and Grill Ape, we talk probably once a month, and we got together for lunch and discovered Art Basel. That's how it happened. So I think me and Grill Ape and whoever else is in the Florida, I met somebody from Del Rey, in Art Basel, and so I'm more than happy to start the South Florida chapter of SPX, and besides having a happy hour once every 6 or 8 weeks, maybe connected to that, we'll invite some normies to kind of see what it's about.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant idea. Let's definitely talk. And anyone listening to this space, if you want to be someone who's kind of leading coordination efforts for an area by you, if you want to sort of collaborate with us on what those might look like, Jesse, you and I can kind of try and get on a similar page. But yeah, I definitely think I'm happy to start running something very similar by me in parallel with you. And
I love it. That sounds
we
perfect.
don't have to exactly, do it the same way or even at the same frequency, but I think like at least getting it up and running, we can try and make coordinate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You could just have like a roster of who's of
Yeah.
people in your area,
Yeah.
and it could be once every quarter. It could be once every half year,
Yeah.
whatever it is. But somebody could sign up anytime they want.
Yeah. I love that. Great idea. Yeah, it sounds like we're all kind of thinking in a similar direction. And this is the whole sort of principle that Munchies was referring to on the timeline today. This like notion of emergence, like these emergent trends that we're all kind of collectively thinking in the same direction and trying to come up with ways to realize. And yeah, I mean, we just have to keep having these conversations and then act on them. And that's what the SPX community has always been best at.
Eon Reborn, I think, has had his hand up
Oh
for a
yeah,
while.
sorry. Thank you, Murad. My thing is glitching, so I can't even see him as a speaker.
Hey guys, yeah, I mean, I've been following all of this, and I just wanted to say I love you guys. I'm very impressed. I'm very grateful to be part of this. I just wanted to, I was just thinking about like how many incredibly talented people we have in so many fields, medicine, engineering, visual arts, philosophy, education, finance, technology, like what have you. And I think we all care, and this is something very rare in crypto. And the people here are really happy to go the extra mile in what they do publicly and what they do, in their network, and to develop and grow SPX. And I think most importantly, we're kind of all united by a common idea, which is flipping the stock market. But there is a lot more. There is a much bigger philosophy, right? As Spaces was saying earlier, kind of behind this. This is kind of the idea, but behind that there is a much bigger, set of philosophy and principles that are there for us. And I think like this is very similar. I mean, as been said before, but to what Bitcoin was when I found it, I think about 12 years ago. Was definitely very similar to Ethereum early days, because then again, like some people say sometimes, oh, crypto isn't that a Ponzi, isn't that like the tulip mania? But I think ultimately what differentiate to some extent the phenomena in crypto to a mania is that a phenomenon like SPX is that in the mania, like people just chase. I buy because you made the money, right? I see you making money. I buy also, like versus like something like crypto. I'm talking like Bitcoin early days, Ethereum early days, SPX. What we're witnessing today is that there is a much deeper sense and a much deeper reason why we're doing this, right? Why we're standing together to build this. And again, like it's all about like, the idea, the principles, and the mission ultimately. And the last thing I kind of came to mind is like what you guys were talking about with Tom about also, this idea of essentially establishing a physical infrastructure and considering all the different in real life events and the different kind of pods as node of this physical infrastructure. This is to me like it's literally the network state theory happening, before our eyes. And yeah, I just think like this is a very big phenomenon, right? Like Balaji was talking about this a few years ago, and I think this is ultimately what we're witnessing here, and it's important today. Is going to be even more important after post AI, let's say, like now it's all pre-AI, but if this is important today, you can imagine how crazy, how monumental this will be post AI. So again, guys, yeah, just wanted to say this. I'm super excited to do this with you guys, and yeah, amazing. Persist forever.
I love that. Thank you, Aeon Reborn. I'm so sorry I didn't see that you were up here. But I just want to kind of mirror the sentiment that you just shared and basically say there's something called Gödel's incompleteness theorem. And, Gödel's incompleteness theorem basically says you can't prove something true outside of the axioms that deem it true. And what we're kind of doing is we're saying, like, we don't believe that the algorithms are more valuable than human beings, and so we're going to sort of exist outside of this framework entirely. So anyway, I really appreciate what you just said, and I agree. I think like the realization of a network state, like having these physical locations that are self-sustaining, that are sort of like pro-human or human empowering, and liberating people from these structures that they've been entrapped in. I think that's like the next evolution. People realize in things like GameStop and even Occupy Wall Street, oh, you vote with your money. But this is kind of like the next evolution of that. And so, yeah, I think it was Hee-Haw who said this is like the first sort of religion of finance. So just to use that sort of that sentiment again. And I think that sort of encapsulates what you were just kind of describing. I think we're going to wrap it up, by the way, but I don't want to be the last words. I think Murad should close us off, but I just wanted to say it's so good to see everyone here. I am sure you're probably tired of hearing my raspy, my raspy voice talk. I'm going to take some notes from Hypey on how to get my voice super smooth before the next space. But I think there will be many more of these. And keep an eye out for all of the other spaces that happen throughout the week. It's been a great time, and I can't wait to see what this next week brings, whether it's from the Bronze Army, the Tofu Army, or anyone else who's been building in the space. And Murad, I want to say thank you again for bringing us all together, and I'll leave it to you to kind of close us out.
So first of all, thank you very much for everybody that made it to our spaces. We're going to be doing these spaces weekly, same time next Sunday as well. I think it's a great way to not only revive the tradition, but also to recap the past week and to kind of plan out the best moves and the best things we have going on for the week ahead. The one thing I want to leave you guys with is persist forever. I believe we are very early to something that is going to be much bigger than even we realize. And once again, I'm very, very excited and proud to be on this journey with you guys. Thank you very much.